Welcome to Trondheim and to Nidaros Cathedral, the northernmost medieval cathedral in the world. As such, it attracts visitors from far and wide. Many tourists arriving in Trondheim by cruise ship or coastal ferry head straight for the cathedral, but it's also one of the world's most important, if lesser known, pilgrimage sites. While not as famous as other pilgrims trails such as the Camino de Santiago, the St. Olav's Ways crossing Scandinavia end up here and still attract lots of pilgrims and keen hikers every summer. When I moved to Trondheim back in 2013, a friend of mine described Nidaros as a small town with a big church. He wasn't wrong. As you can see, it's easy to spot the cathedral in the relatively low-rise cityscape of Trondheim. This iconic structure holds a unique place in the history of Norway, its roots tracing back to a humble wooden chapel built over the tomb of Saint Olav, the Viking king instrumental in introducing Christianity to Norway. Before you venture inside, take a few minutes to admire the remarkable west front. This facade, packed with intricate carvings, is arguably the most eye-catching feature inside and out. But this iconic image isn't as ancient as it may first appear. The west front was completely restored between 1905 and 1983, in what was the largest and longest ever art project in Norwegian history. The sculptures depict a variety of historical and religious figures, some rooted in fact, and others in pure fantasy. The cathedral's stained glass windows, including the rose window on the west front, are a sight to behold, but they are best appreciated from the inside. So let's head on inside and take a look. First things first, if you haven't pre-booked a ticket online, you'll need to head into the neighbouring building to buy a ticket. This is also home to restrooms, a cafe, and a gift shop with a wide variety of products available to buy, including the wonderful Lewis chessmen figurines. Stepping inside the cathedral, you will find yourself in a serene sanctuary showcasing Romanesque and Gothic architectural styles. Whether you are a Christian, of other faith, or a non-believer, there is so much to appreciate in here, not least the stunning architecture. I guarantee the first thing you'll do is gaze upwards. I've always felt the interior of Nidaros Cathedral to be a bit TARDIS-like. While it doesn't exactly seem small from the outside, it does seem so much more spacious inside than you might expect. Guided tours are available at regular points throughout the day. Some of them are in English, if you want more details about what you're seeing. But for me, I prefer to just wander around and absorb everything in. Some of the areas, such as the side chapels or artwork of note, do have short explanation boards in Norwegian and English, so you won't miss out completely if you choose to explore on your own. Once you reach the first of two altars, be sure to turn around and admire the organ and fantastic rose window from the inside. On a sunny day, this is an absolutely beautiful spot. As you make your way further into the cathedral, you'll reach the main altar set within this octagonal shrine. Visitors are able to walk around the outside of this, and I highly recommend doing so, not least to admire the remarkable stonework. At the very back of the cathedral, you'll find this small memorial chapel of gratitude, which is dedicated to the memory of Saint Olav. This wonderful baptismal font is beautifully decorated with scenes from scripture, and I often spend a long time simply looking at this. I always seem to see something new. Make sure to walk all the way around the edge of the cathedral so you don't miss out on any of the many nooks and crannies, such as this memorial chapel that's open for silent prayer throughout the day. There's also a bigger side chapel that's often used for services on Sundays and at other points during the week. On the other side of the cathedral, this altar and decoration that's oiled and processed after Sami tree traditions was added to the cathedral in 2017 to mark the 100th anniversary of the first National Sami Assembly, which was held in Trondheim. If you're up for it, you can also climb the steps up to the main tower during the high season for an additional fee. Though I still haven't climbed it myself, the views over Trondheim centre are said to be unbeatable. Last but definitely not least, the Crypt, accessible through this narrow, steep staircase, offers a fascinating collection of marble gravestones. Some of the most notable stones have notes in Norwegian and English explaining the inscriptions on the stones, or in some cases what historians believe the inscriptions to say. While it may seem a bit creepy to go down to the crypt to look at gravestones, this is actually one of my favourite parts of the cathedral. It's just something a little bit different. The restoration of Nidaros Cathedral began in 1869, or I should say the latest restoration, as there have been many over the centuries, and it still continues to this day. When you visit, chances are at least some of the exterior will be covered up. That's always going to be the case with a building that's this many centuries old. Most recently, renovations have been done of the King's Entrance, which had to be completely renovated due to problems with stability and issues of deteriorating stone quality. Make sure to do a complete circuit of the outside of the cathedral to fully appreciate the architecture and the stonework. It's also worth a wander around the cemetery and down to the river if the weather is playing ball. But your visit to Nidaros Cathedral is far from over at this point. You can also buy a combined ticket which grants you entry to the Archbishop's Palace Museum and the Royal Regalia. Let's take a quick look at why you might want to do that. The Archbishop's Palace was built in the 12th century and was expanded several times over the years. Today, it's one of the best preserved buildings of its type in all of Northern Europe. Throughout its long life, it has acted as the residence of some of Norway's most powerful and influential people, and also as a military site. But today, it houses a museum which tells the story of Nidaros Cathedral through the ages. Sculptures saved from the original building during renovations and archaeological discoveries from the site throughout the years are among the highlights. Personally, I find this museum just as interesting as the cathedral itself. One terrific example of this is the excavated Mint, which the museum was built around because of its importance. Traces of wear on the floor show where people moved between the hearth and the workbenches where individual coins were struck. The entire workshop is temperature controlled and closely monitored to conserve its condition. Another highlight that many people miss is Norway's crown regalia on display in another small museum on site. The collection includes the crowns of the king, queen and crown prince, together with other items such as ceremonial robes and a history of the Norwegian royal family. Unfortunately, photography is not permitted inside this museum, so I cannot bring you images, but if you are a keen royalist or a student of European history, this is a great opportunity to see some of Norway's most valuable items with almost no one else around. I hope you enjoyed this virtual visit to Trondheim's Nidaros Cathedral. Why not check out some of my other videos about Trondheim, or head on over to lifeinnorway.net for loads more information on Trondheim and Norway. Thanks for watching.